Hey, you guys, it is Ali of Where's Ali. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about it's a good topic, a hot topic, one that comes up often, and that is, common mistakes we make when we compare a short-term vacation to I am moving here forever. So let's get ready to chat about this. But first, if you guys have not already, click that subscribe button, that like button, share the video if you don't mind. Click the notification bell. You get notified when I go live or post new videos. And you guys, if you're new to my channel is primarily about travel and my um, personal journey through this new nomadic space, which includes everything up and about living and building like lives, nomadic circles with other people who are embarking on this a similar journey. Who also look like me. For anybody, but particularly sharing it from my perspective. So, you guys, let's get started. Let's talk about this thing that we hear all the time. First of all, if you guys are in any social media groups and things like that, you probably see these kinds of questions come up all the time, and that is, oh my God, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to get out of here. And let's just talk about the United States. This is crazy. Before elections or after elections, or soon, they've changed so many things. They've taken away women's rights, all kinds of stuff. We're not going to get into that today. But so many things, even stemming from, more recent 2020, 2021, we had great resignation, people leaving, and now people are thinking of exiting. People are literally thinking about, okay, there's got to be something better, there's got to be other options, and wanting to move. And what's happening is now they've opened up the doors, and everybody is starting to travel. And we're taking these 5 day, 7 day, 10 day trips, and we have now committed to move to places. And I'm going to tell you, that is a common mistake, you guys. Sometimes it works out great. Nothing is 100% good or bad all the time. I mean, some things are. We won't talk about those things. But there are common mistakes that we can make by literally taking a vacation somewhere and deciding full-fledged, I'm throwing everything out, I'm selling everything, and we are going to pack up everything we have. We got one opportunity to make this happen. Now, I mean, if you got one opportunity, sometimes you just make it happen. But to base whether or not you're going to like to live in a place versus to visit a place. And that is the big looming question that I think throws people off. And a lot of times, more times than not, what we end up finding out is, people are a little bit disappointed with what they were presented with versus what they were expecting. So let's put those perspectives or expectations into the proper buckets and make sure that we are setting ourselves up for as much success as possible. So I'm going to tell you there's a few things that I'm not going to go through everything, but these are some of the basic things that can throw you off when you're thinking about where I just went on vacation or where someone else went on vacation and posted it on Instagram and you see all the pictures and you're just like, oh my God, you did this, or you volunteered, oh my gosh, I want to do all these things, and that's great. But that doesn't mean that you want to live there. Because I ain't gonna lie, y'all, I've been to quite a few places, and I promise to goodness that I'll walk away from many places. I don't want to come back to the States. I'm just a person who loves to travel and love to nomad, and I literally will get up and be like, oh my God, I can live here. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's that. After I started long traveling, I realized that that's not always the case. Maybe staying somewhere for 3 months, 6 months, something like that, great. But you'll find that either you love it or you hate it. Why? Because now you're going to see the reality of it. So let's kick down some of the things that are really important to think about. It's going to be, unfortunately, the political system is one of the things that we really won't get into. Locations, areas that you'll stay in, different cities, things like that. Cost for things or accommodations is the biggest one. Transportation, data, transportation data. Oh, I got my little notes here. your overall living expenses, those kinds of things, and then proximity to and access to airports, grocery stores, hospitals, so on and so forth. So, and then the last part is ease of access to get in and out of the country, ease to access for the visa process and the COVID requirements. We're not going to go through all of those. I'm just simply going to show you what uh, how we can make common mistakes by going on vacation for 5 days, 7 days, and or looking at somebody's IG pictures and deciding that we're going to uproot everything, our families, ourselves, whatever, and we're going to make this big jump. I'm not telling you that you can't do it, because if that's what's going to get you up off the couch, out the house, in the car, on the bus, plane, train, or automobile to your respective journey, do it. But keep these things in mind so that y'all are not surprised, y'all. We like to make sure that everybody understands what the fine print says. Okay, so let's start with um, locations, areas, places that you go to. So what happens is more times than not, we see some advertisement for a place is well known for, all these different things. Like, for example, I'm in Ecuador, a big thing is baños, so going into the mountain spas, middle of the world, and some of the coastline beaches, which really aren't that really talked about a lot, but it's mostly inland stuff. So not a lot, but a few things. So what happens is or Galapagos, because you can only get to Galapagos Islands from Ecuador, right? So a lot of people come here for that. So people may come and say, oh my God, I've talked to them, I would like the nature, is so beautiful. I want to go there. Well, outside of the islands, Galapagos and Isla de Plata, yeah, you ain't gonna see no seals just up and around these parts. It's not gonna happen, right? So those are some of the things that can happen that make you like throw things off. The other flip side of that is Galapagos is so expensive to go to that it also may paint a not so rosy picture that, oh, all of Ecuador is super expensive. Now, Ecuador is not cheap, but it may paint that perspective and that view. So, looking at different locations, like where are you going? Why would you go there? And I'm going to point out another thing, like let's say you want to go, you hear about Quito or you hear about Guayaquil, which are two of the one and two largest cities here, and then Cuenca's number three, I believe. But anyway, you hear about those places you want to go and visit, and bam, it's not everything that you were thinking of because you want water, you're thinking, all these things, right? And so taking into consideration that if something is pubbed up really touristy, common mistake number one is to make sure that you're not basing your sole decision on that location, and that you afford. Everything is going to come down to make sure you afford some time to actually go and extrapolate what you need to figure out if that is a place that you want to stay. And how are you going to do that before you even get to a place? You guys know the main thing that I always stress is know your why. Know why it is that you are planning to actually get up and leave from one place, go to another, why you say you want to visit a different place, and subsequently why you are wanting to um, relocate, move to a new city or a new country. It is by no means an easy thing. You can nomad all over, which is what I do. Or when you start talking about residency, applying for residency, staying somewhere for a year, different types of visas and the process and all of that. That's a lot. So you want to have all your ducks in a row. So know your why. Know why you want to do things. And I'm going to add a clip on the YouTube channel. I'll link it in the description as to why it's important to make sure that where you're going lines up with your why, lines up with what it is that you want to do. Because all too often in life, at 50 years old, all too often, a lot of times the grass looks really green because somebody's painting it green on the other side, and we jump because it looks good. But that may not be the grass patch for us. Okay, so just keep that in mind. All right, y'all, because we want to make sure we have a good time. Okay, so the location. Let's jump into the cost, right? So the cost part is really big because I think that encompasses everything. So let's talk about accommodations. A lot of times we'll base, oh, I can afford this place. Oh my God. And then people tell you to go and read those charts that give you a breakdown of what places cost. Let me tell you, there's always an extreme. There's always a really low and there's always an extremely high, okay? And so finding out if there's really a middle and what that middle looks like takes time. It takes time to navigate, takes time to settle down, and also feng shui in the energy, okay? Whether you are in a meditative mental space or not, energy is really important, whether you know you're utilizing it or not, okay? But accommodations, that penny, the pennies and dollars start to add up. So if you're going somewhere for 7 days and you're paying $35, I'm sorry, $35. Let's say 50 an average because that's easy to multiply out. So you're gonna pay $50 a night to go to a place. 7 days, that's $350. Baby, that's easy. You just go on a vacation, sounds fantastic. Well, now you're like, man, I could live there. I got this set amount. I want to start all over. I really don't have my savings set up, but I know I'm gonna be able to do this, that, and the other. Well, right out the gate, that place is going to be $1,500 a month, and then you also have to find out if you're going to have to pay the utilities for that. Which in most cases, a lot of places, if you are going to pay monthly, you're going to stay monthly. They want you to include all of the costs in there. Okay, and so just keep that in mind. All right, so once you add all of that up, now you're looking and saying, and the notations are coming in, okay, something that cost me $50 for a 7-day vacation is an astronomical or much higher price than what I'm really wanting to pay for maybe that specific location. Maybe you're looking and saying, okay, that price isn't bad, but for that location, that's not something that I want to pay. Like in Thailand, you can easily go and stay for a month somewhere for $500. I mean, really nice places for $500 a month, easy, right? Why would I pay $1,500 if I don't have to? You know what I'm saying? And so sometimes that short travel can set you off and misguide you and send you down the wrong path where you really don't know. Whereas if you at least take 30 days, I usually try to advise if you're looking to relocate and you can afford to do so. I'm telling you, if you relocate, you need to be able to afford to do this, is to be able to go and spend 30 days in different locations to see specifically in these cities. Okay. Somebody's out here yelling at their dog. I apologize if y'all can hear that. Okay, so that's one of the major things is the accommodations. And then the other part is what are you going to be doing? So financially, how you might be set. You might have Paris Hilton money or Hilton money or Walt money or whatever, right? And so you might be literally set financially. You don't need to work. But for those of us who do need to figure it out, you may have savings to get started. You may be working on your digital nomadic income and things like that. So what do you need? You need good internet. And so when you're on those short trips, a lot of times you got Wi-Fi, bam, you're good to go. Everything is included. That might be the case when you go to a place long term, but a lot of times it's an extra fee that you have to pay. So you need to know what that cost is going to be to make sure that you've got that high streaming Wi-Fi, or that you're actually in a location where you can get the Wi-Fi. I know many of people want to be up in the mountains, and when have you ever been in the mountains and had good Wi-Fi? Oh, it may work in the resorts and in the spas and stuff like that, but you guys take into consideration that it may be a little bit iffy. And the only way to really see that is if you literally stay in places off of the beaten tourist path and literally kind of go in areas where you would actually be living, right? Well, you can stay in Colorado and you're good to go. That's fantastic. Okay, so cost of living, we got data, we got transportation. Activities and areas, you guys. So like I was talking about earlier, if there's places that you want to go, so trying not to common mistake is making a decision, like I said, based on a place that you want to go to and saying, I want to go and live in a place simply because of this. So the flip side of that is also understanding and saying, okay, these are things that I want and need. I want water. I want like ocean. I want to be around water, or I want to be in a certain temperature, or, I want to have access to move about easily, like, different things. Like I want there to be ease of movement and low cost for flights and or busing and stuff like that. You kind of need to know those things, but a lot of times you won't find that out on a short-term trip. And so that's why that can be, a difficult thing, especially if, or when you think about something like attractions and mobility, that plays into social engagement and emotional health. Because if you're not being fulfilled and doing the things that you really want to do when you get to a place, then you may not have the success that you're looking for. Okay, so please, please, please keep that in mind. All right. Okay, so last but not least are, just mentioning being in close proximity to grocery stores, access to public transportation if you do not have transportation, which most of us don't. So if you move up in the mountains and you're like, oh, I could just call a taxi or something, but there's no ride services. And then just even calling for a taxi, a lot of times maybe they don't go that far, or they're not going into certain, or whatever the case may be, or maybe it's, in the evening after 9 o'clock and you can't get access to it, you can't walk down the street in the dark to get to the area where you can pick up. So all those things are important, because I have experienced pretty much all of those, and those play a big part in whether or not, maybe not deciding to stay to live in a country, but is that the area that I want to be in? And the only way you can really find that out is if you experience a lot of that yourself, or you take the time to really dig in and ask those types of specific questions. Because even the people that you follow, including myself on my YouTube channel, my experience or what I need may not meet what you need. So in other words, the grass that I need to be green may not be the grass that you need to be green. So maybe you are coming with younger school age kids, and I don't have no kids, so I ain't worrying about no school district outside to, just see if there's, tax related things, similar to what we have in the States, or how that all works, and if that impacts me or not, right? Or, the buses and transportation and mobility, when you got all these kids going back and forth, does that impact me or not? But other than that, we may not be fishing from the same pond. It's a bad analogy, but y'all know what I'm trying to say. And then lastly, going somewhere on vacation for 7 days is different than the visa process. So in needing to apply and or extend visas, or include the cost into either jump borders and come back, or extend the visa and paying those fees. So that's something that you also want to know. You don't need to test it out. You literally just need to go on the official government sites for those countries and find out what the visa requirements are for U.S. passport holders, or wherever your passport originates from. So those are like, some of what I consider to be the basic things that one of the mistakes that we make, that we just look at everything as the grass is green and it's beautiful and I'm just so ready to go, but we aren't prepared because we haven't, number one, figured out why we're going outside of just fed up. And sometimes that's all it takes, but you need to do a little bit of planning. So I encourage you to kind of look at some of these things. I have some worksheets that could assist you in kind of starting to put this plan together to see what it's really going to net out to be. If you need to have some money and hold that's going to carry you for, 6 months to a year, you need to know what that's going to look like. These spreadsheets can help you get started. Just let me know if you need those. And you guys, if you get a chance to share this, please share this with others as well. Click that like button again. Subscribe to my channel. Make sure you hit that notification bell, you guys. I hope this is helpful, and I hope you guys get out here. If you are planning to exit, that you get what you need so that you can do that, because real freedom, I'm living the freedom boring life. And that is living the same way that I would in the States, but more fulfilling for myself around the world. So I hope I can see you guys out here doing the same thing. You guys know the drill, toodles and noodles. Peace and hair grease.